Today we're going to talk about this Remington 700 SPS Tactical. This is my favorite weapon. I've put off doing a discussion on this weapon for a long time. Want to make sure that everything is said that needs to be said about it. First and foremost, it's a great rifle. It's the best rifle that I have. It's the most important rifle that I have. I love my M4, but this is the one right here. This is the rifle that I would want to have with me if I was in any kind of trouble, where it would allow me to set up and take aim and all those sorts of things. If I was called on to lend a hand in some situation, this would be the rifle that I would bring. Of course, I would probably bring along my M4, and if I had to respond in the middle of the night at my own place for self-defense, I would probably grab my pistol, which lately has become this Glock 45 Auto, the Glock 30. That's quickly becoming my favorite pistol. So a lot of pistols and rifles and stuff that are available, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the one right here. And I'm going to talk about this rifle a little bit, going to shoot it a little bit. Probably take 2 or 3 days and get in some different situations and maybe shoot it on the range. I definitely have to shoot it on the range because I had shot some Hornady rounds through this rifle, and I had to move my zero a little bit for that round. And that's a good round, there's no question about that, but I'm going to go back to this Federal round that I've been shooting all along, and probably from here on out, no rounds will be shot through this rifle except for these Match King from Federal. But at any rate, I've done enough scrap shooting with this rifle that really it's time to just be serious with it. I figured out all of its ins and outs and ups and downs, and I've shot Winchester and Federal and every other kind of round that I could think of, and Fusion and different types of each brand of round, and I know what this rifle's going to do. I know what it likes best. I know what's more consistent. A lot of people like Hornady for consistent because the lot numbers are bigger, and that's a good point, and that's a valid point. But I like this Sierra Match King the best as far as hitting what you're aiming at. It's a very consistent round, and but at any rate, just to get on with the show, I love this rifle. It's about 10 pounds, so it's not too heavy, just the way it sits here. If there would be one thing that I'm definitely going to change about this rifle in the future, is I'm going to take this this slinky style scope covers off of it at some point and put some flip ups on it. I just don't care too much about stuff like that. They say you should probably change this X mark trigger. Some people say they've had problems with them, and there was some problem with the trigger at one point, but that problem's been fixed, and it's a very good trigger. I love this trigger. I have a $200 trigger in my M4, and it's not as good as this trigger right here. I love this trigger. It's adjustable. You can work with it and fool with it a little bit and get it exactly where you want it. And that's the biggest thing at the end of the day, whether you're spending $35 or $100 or $200, you get what's right for you, and you get what works for you, and don't feel bad because you pull up beside a Ferrari with a Ford Focus. If that's what does it for you, and if that's what gets the job done, then you've got the right piece of equipment. And this rifle is the right piece of equipment. Another thing that's been complained, another thing that's been complained, I don't think so. Another mark against this rifle as far as the critics are concerned is the fact that this Hogue stock is a little bit flexible, and it is a little flexible, but I've never had any problems with it, to be honest with you. I've thought about changing it out for a Bell & Carlson, which I still might do, but if I do that, it won't be because this Hogue stock has failed me in any way, shape, or form. I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is the cheek weld is just not high enough for me, and I'll do something about that. Matter of fact, I have done something about that. I took a t-shirt and I cut it into a small strip and rolled it up tight, and then I wrapped it with duct tape. You can probably see it right there, and I've got it sticking in the side there, and I can move it up or down. I can adjust it. I like it about right there, and that works for me. And like I say, you get what works for you, and you'll be right on every time. But as far as the stock causing the rounds to be inconsistent, I haven't found that at all. I've shot this weapon out to 900 yards, and multiple shots got less than an MOA at 900 yards with this weapon, just like it sets. And so I don't have any complaints about that at all. The action's real smooth, the trigger's wonderful, the scope is great. The 900 yard shots that I took with this rifle was with a 3-9 by 40, and since then I've changed the scope, and this is a 4-12 by 40, and this is a real good scope so far. I haven't had any problems with it. I haven't got it out to 900 yards yet, but I'm waiting for that, and I'll do that as soon as I possibly can. If I could change anything else besides this slinky scope dust cover, it would be the magazine. I would probably convert that over to a removable magazine. I rarely load any extra rounds, but if I ever shoot a competition with this, I think you got to have some magazines that are detachable and loaded in a specific way. And I'm not really a competition shooter. I've never shot in a competition, but I'd like to do that at some point in time, and I think to do that with this rifle I would have to change that over. I believe that's the case anyway. But this is a great rifle. Like I say, it weighs 10 pounds. That's not too heavy, I don't believe. If you're going to carry it for a while, which I have carried this rifle through the woods on several occasions, it does begin to wear on you a little bit, but that's why you work out and get in shape and stay in shape, and so stuff like that doesn't hurt you too bad. That's shot number one. Little anxiety, I don't know why, but had a little anxiety on the first shot. Then 1, 2, and 3. Those were taken well aimed. Then I made an adjustment, 4 clicks to the right. Then those were my next 3 shots, 1, 2, and 3. That's pretty good. one in the center of the head, one in the heart. This guy's dead. That rifle's right on.